Last year, Nike called out StockX for selling fake sneakers,
in the legal battle between Nike and sneaker resale platform
with one of the
StockX.
most common being the Jordan 1. And in this video, I'm gonna go over all the details to where you can spot a fake and be able to legit check the Jordan 1 by yourself. And at the end of this video, I'm gonna tell you the Jordan 1 that I've seen that is the best fake and how to tell if even that shoe is fake. Alright, so to jump right into it, the very first thing that's gonna be a dead giveaway is gonna be the toe box, right? Now here's what I want you to understand. The Jordan 1 toe box is the most recognizable feature on the shoe. The toe box should have a slight outward curve and it should be kind of slim and round, right? So a lot of the times, like if you see on a legit pair, in all my examples, the legit one is on the left and then the fake is on the right. You would think it would be easier for them to duplicate this, but it is not, bro. They typically always get it wrong. So like even here on the close-up, you can see that it's off. And a lot of the times in real time, it's not that visible. Now, compared to the replica, you see it's kind of shorter, it's wider, it's not as long. Another thing that you're gonna see most typically on the toe box is you're gonna see it kind of square. And so the toe box is honestly the first indication that you can see. Now, the next thing I want you to pay attention to is the holes on it, right? To the naked eye, there's not much of a difference, right? But when you zoom in and when you look in on that, you can see that the pattern is just slightly off. So another thing to pay attention to is the holes. At first glance, you don't see much of an issue, right? But what you can first of all notice, these start a little bit further from the toe box than these do, right? But that's not the only thing. If you zoom in, you can kind of see on the fakes that the pattern is off. I tell people all the time, once you start seeing legit pairs, you'll be able to like quickly pick this stuff up. However, until then, you kind of got to refer to stuff like this. And one thing, if you still kind of look at this, because honestly, it's kind of still hard to tell the difference. However, on the fakes, the pattern just looks slightly more condensed, and on the real ones, it's just kind of more spread out and it's kind of like closer to the bound. So that's the first thing, is the toe box. The second most important thing, the most identifiable thing that you're going to be able to see is the overall shape of the shoe, right? And there's a couple things I'm going to point out. First, I want you to look at this kind of neck, right? Look at this neck and then look at this one. This one's a little longer as far as the distance between this point and this point, as to where this one isn't that long, right? It's also more flat around the top on a legit pair, as this one's more curved. So you can see here on the close-ups that it's kind of more, just has more of a square angle, and this one kind of curves down a lot more, right? So that's something that's definitely gonna stand out to anyone. Now, another thing that's gonna be tough to notice, especially if you don't know this, is check out the back shape of this, right? This is kind of more of like a straight up and down, and this one is more curved, right? So it's little stuff like that that these manufacturers just don't think, I guess, to copy or to examine. Also, something we're gonna go over later, but it just screams out in this shoe, is the stitching, right? So look at this stitching and then look at this stitching. It almost looks imprinted here and then just kind of stitched on the top over here, right? So that's definitely, once again, something to pay attention to. So the top of that heel should definitely be straight. The fake pair is gonna always be too curved. The bottom of the heel should only have like a subtle curve, and this one has more of a profound curve. Another thing is that when you sit a Jordan 1 on the ground, the whole sole is supposed to be on the ground, and a lot of times on the fake, they're kind of curved. The midsole, right? Sometimes it's gonna be too thick. This one, they kind of did a good job, but that's also something to look out for. The next thing that you can point out, and the thing that you can look at, is the swoosh. The swoosh, like I said here, is always going to be out of there, bro. And the more legit pairs you see, the more that by itself is just going to throw you off. It doesn't look right. So first of all, pay attention to the placement, right? The swoosh, it'll be placed too high, too low, too far, or too close from the shoelace holes, right? So on a legit pair, you can see this distance, and then here you can just kind of see that that's not the same distance. Another giveaway is gonna be this stitching right here on this part. Like, it should always be precise, and this isn't always gonna be precise. This is actually one of the better checks I've seen, but it's still just not the same. It's not right. That distance isn't right. The stitching isn't right. Once again, you can see sort of that imprint stitch versus, you know, they have an imprint stitch here, but it's just, once again, not the same. So for stuff like this, if you don't have a legit pair sitting around, bro, I would go get a pair of mids or even a pair of lows to just compare the check. Now, the next way to be able to tell, and another thing that you can eyeball quickly, is gonna be the imprint, right? Especially on the Jordan 1. And here's a piece of free game. Any replica item, whether it's Gucci, Louis, whatever, if it's supposed to have an imprint, go there first, right? Because it's never gonna be the same. So number one, on top of the imprint, in this general area, one thing you're gonna notice is the stitching, right? On a lot of replicas, the stitching is just a little too close than what it is on the real pair, as you kind of see here in these examples. And then another giveaway, right? You can tell from these images as well. On legit pairs, this imprint is gonna have this sort of gloss, right? It's gonna be just a higher quality brand, and even on camera you can see like it kind of has that same like gloss, right? On the fakes, that gloss is not there at all. On top of that, if you can tell, these letters are a little bit thinner than these, right? This is basically a cheap knockoff of this stamp. Another thing that you can look at, and my graphic designers are definitely gonna have a field day with this one, this is a sans serif font, right? A serif font pretty much has sharper edges as far as at the end of them, to where sans serif fonts just are rounded. This is supposed to be a serif, but it's because they can't copy it 100%. It looks like a sans serif font that's a little too thin to be this font actually. Another dead giveaway is of course gonna be the trademark logo, which will stand out big time because once again, that's really small print and it is really hard to knock that off. Now, I'm about to reveal to you the sneaker that scares me, the best replica I've ever seen, and I'm also gonna tell you how you can even tell if that shoe is fake, because honestly, it checks out on all of these. The toe box on this fake is pretty good. The shape, pretty good. The swoosh, almost perfect. The imprints, because the type of shoe it is, good. And we're talking about the Mocha 1. That's right, the Mocha 1 is the best fake shoe I've ever seen. The fake Mocha 1 looks exactly like the real one from the side, but here's how you can tell on that one. Turn that mug to the back, right? Because one thing that's iconic about the Jordan silhouette, the Jordan 1 silhouette period, is that it kind of has like a curved Coke bottle shape, and on the fakes, it does not. A lot of the fakes, not even just this one, a lot of the fakes kind of have like a bulging, bulky back like this, and it's supposed to slim down and come out a little bit, but as you see, they failed miserably when they tried to do that, right? So that's the one thing that you can grasp on the fake Mocha, in my opinion, that you can look at it and tell. Also, little details like the quality of the stitch is always going to be a dead giveaway, right? While sneakerheads complain about the quality of sneakers now, they still have a level of QA that they go through at Jordan, right? And this isn't gonna cut it. This image right here, I'm gonna be honest with you, they did a really good job copying this pattern, and I don't want to confuse you. The only difference, the reason why this shows kind of like a cream color and this one is white, is because of the lighting of that image. So to the naked eye, I don't believe you would be able to tell. Another honorable mention shoe that's hard to tell is the UNC 1. The UNC 1 is crazy, bro. It's also really good. However, to me, the color is off just a little bit, and as you see on this one, the color is just off a little, but on the fake UNC 1, the blue is a little too dull, and to me, that check is hit or miss, you know what I mean? So man, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, and let me know what shoe y'all want to see me break down and legit check next. Rico Gang, I love y'all. Let's get it.